Hi, my name is Emma, and today I'm going to tell you the real story of my friend David, the man who pulled me out of hell, only to show me a different kind of nightmare. This isn't just about corporate backstabbing, it's about how ambition can poison even the purest intentions, and how the person who builds you up can be the one most eager to watch you fall. And yeah, it involves secrets, recordings, and a reckoning nobody saw coming. My story starts years ago. I was lost, deep in an addiction that had stolen my job, my apartment, most of my friends. Rock bottom was a concrete floor in a shelter. Then I met David. He ran a small but respected division at a big tech company called Viridian Dynamics. We met through a mutual friend at an outreach program. David wasn't just sympathetic. He saw something in me I couldn't see anymore. He fought for me, got me into a great rehab program, visited me relentlessly, and when I was finally clean and shaky, he offered me a chance. An entry-level admin job at Viridian. "Start over, Emma," he'd said, his eyes intense, sincere. "You're stronger than you think." He became my mentor, my champion. He pushed me, challenged me, celebrated my promotions. Within 5 years, I wasn't just clean, I was David's right-hand project manager at Viridian. We were a formidable team. He called me his greatest success story. I believed him. I owed him everything. David was ambitious. Viridian Dynamics was a pressure cooker, layers of management all jockeying for the attention of the C-suite, especially the elusive CEO, Ms. Thorne. David's target was the newly created VP of Strategic Development position. His main rival was Mark Henderson, head of sales, slick, charming, and utterly ruthless. Mark despised David, saw his mentorship programs and second chance hires like me as weak sentimentality. The air between them crackled with hostility. Things started shifting subtly. Projects David spearheaded hit unexpected snags. Budgets mysteriously got cut. Crucial reports David submitted to Ms. Thorne seemed to vanish or arrive incomplete. David grew stressed, withdrawn. He started snapping at me, something he'd never done. I chalked it up to the pressure. Then came the day I overheard a snippet I wasn't meant to. I was dropping files at David's office late. His door was slightly ajar. Mark Henderson's oily voice drifted out. "Just needs one final push, David. Thorne trusts you implicitly. Plant the seed about the financial irregularities in the East Coast rollout. Blame it on her restructuring. Once she questions Emma's competence, doubts her stability given her history, she's gone. The VP slot is yours. Clean slate." My blood froze. Her restructuring? My history? Gone? David's voice, lower, strained, replied, "And the budget discrepancies you fabricated? If they trace back," Mark chuckled. "They won't. My team handles the numbers. Your role is simply to manage perception. Especially Thorne's perception of Emma. She's the weak link, David. Your pet project gone wrong. Thorne eats that narrative up. Eliminate the liability. Secure the promotion. Simple." There was a long pause. My heart hammered against my ribs. Asterisk, please, David. Say no. Tell him to go to hell. Asterisk, fine, David said, his voice devoid of the warmth I knew. But Henderson, this stays between us. If this blows back, relax. Mark cut in. We're covered. Just deliver your part. Undermine her in the next exec meeting. Plant the doubt. I fled before they saw me. Back in my tiny apartment, I collapsed. Betrayal isn't a knife. It's a slow-acting poison. David wasn't just throwing me under the bus. He was actively steering it, using my past addiction, the very vulnerability he'd helped me overcome, as the weapon to destroy me. To climb. The man who saved me was now my executioner. The ambition I'd admired had curdled into something monstrous. Rage warred with despair. Then, cold resolve settled over me. They thought I was weak. A liability?
Fine.
But I'd been to hell and back. I knew how to fight dirty when cornered, I didn't confront David. Instead, I went shopping. I bought a high-quality voice-activated recorder disguised as a pen. Expensive, but worth every penny. From that moment on, the pen was clipped to my notebook, present in every interaction, every meeting, every casual chat near my desk. The next weeks were agony. Playing the loyal, slightly confused subordinate while David subtly started his campaign. In meetings with Ms. Thorne, he'd sigh, "The East Coast rollout is struggling, ma'am." Emma's restructuring plan, while well-intentioned, perhaps it was too much, too fast, given the complexities. He'd trail off meaningfully. He'd lose documents I'd given him, then express concern to others about my organization. He started isolating me from key decisions, telling me gently, "Emma, I just think this might be overwhelming. Let me handle this one." Each time, the pen was there, silently capturing the lies, the insinuations about my stability, the veiled references to my past. I also started digging.
Carefully.
Accessing old project files. Admin privileges have their perks. Cross-referencing budgets, Mark's team submitted versus actual allocations. The discrepancies were there, cleverly hidden but real. Money siphoned into dummy accounts, costs inflated. All pointing towards Mark, but designed to implicate David's oversight or, as their plan dictated, my management. The tension was suffocating. Mark would smirk at me in the hallway. David avoided my eyes, his guilt manifesting as forced joviality. My colleagues sensed the storm brewing. Alliances shifted like sand. Sarah from legal became a hesitant ally, sensing something was off but wary. Ben in finance nervously confirmed some of the anomalies I found but begged me not to involve him. Fear was the currency Viridian traded in. The breaking point was the pre-VP announcement meeting. Ms. Thorne called David, Mark, and a few other senior directors. David delivered the final blow. He presented a damning and fabricated report on the East Coast failure, heavily implying my leadership and past instability were the root cause. "It pains me to say this," he said, his voice thick with faux regret, captured crystal clear by my pen in my bag, but Emma, despite her incredible journey, might not be ready for this level of responsibility. The pressure, it seems to have triggered some regression. He didn't say relapse, but he didn't need to. The implication hung in the air, toxic and deliberate. Mark nodded solemnly, adding fuel about financial control concerns. I was summoned to Ms. Thorne's office later that day. Her expression was cold, disappointed. "Emma," she began, "we value your contributions, but given recent developments," I didn't let her finish. I placed a small, unmarked USB drive on her immaculate desk. "Ma'am, before you make any decisions regarding my future or the VP promotion, I urge you to listen to the contents of this drive. It contains recorded conversations and supporting financial documents. It reveals the truth about the East Coast rollout, the budget discrepancies, and the real reason behind this character assassination. It involves David Keller and Mark Henderson." My voice shook, but it held. Her eyes narrowed. "Recordings? Emma, that's highly unorthodox, possibly illegal. I know," I said, meeting her gaze. "I also know what it's like to lose everything. I recorded them conspiring to destroy my reputation and career by exploiting my past while covering up embezzlement. Listen, then decide what's illegal and what's necessary." I walked out, my legs trembling. I had no job security now, only the slim hope that the evidence spoke for itself. The wait was excruciating. 2 days of silence, thick with tension. David tried to corner me, demanding to know what I'd said to Thorne. I just shook my head, mute. Mark avoided me entirely. Then the email. Company-wide. From Miss Thorne. Subject: Organizational changes and zero tolerance. IT announced the immediate termination of Mark Henderson for gross misconduct, financial malfeasance, and violation of company ethics. It announced that David Keller was placed on indefinite administrative leave pending a full external investigation into his conduct, specifically citing credible evidence of conspiracy, defamation of a colleague, and misuse of position. It didn't name me. It didn't mention recordings, but it stated Viridian Dynamics maintained a zero-tolerance policy for harassment, discrimination, and unethical behavior. It announced an external audit of all financial controls, and it stated the VP position would be reevaluated after the investigations concluded. The fallout was seismic. Mark was escorted out, pale and furious. David cleaned out his desk under the watchful eyes of security, his face ashen, refusing to look at anyone. Whispers exploded, then slowly turned to cautious support. Sarah hugged me tightly. Ben gave me a shaky thumbs up. The weight lifted, leaving me hollow and shaky. David never spoke to me again. Last I heard, he moved out of state. The investigation confirmed everything on the recordings and in the documents. Mark faced criminal charges that I didn't get the VP job. Honestly, I didn't want it. The cost was too high. Viridian offered me a significant promotion in a different division with a hefty raise and assurances. I took it. I needed the stability, the validation that I had value beyond being David's project or his scapegoat, SO, who made me a successful man. David did. He pulled me from the abyss and gave me the tools, the confidence. He showed me my own strength. But the real success? That came later. It came when I realized success isn't just about titles or clean time. It's about integrity, even when it burns. It's about finding your voice when someone tries to silence you. It's about surviving the betrayal of the person you trusted most and still choosing to build something real, something yours, on the other side. David gave me the foundation, but I built the rest. And I learned the hardest lesson. Sometimes, the hand that pulls you up is the same one that tries to push you down deeper. But you learn to stand on your own. And you never, ever, stop recording the truth. Just in case.